Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Michael once again with Tactical League and Biohazard Media, here with Cory Haynes, Tactical Dork.
How's it going?
Yeah, man. Obviously, we know each other a little bit from, just crossing over at a couple of events and, industry stuff. Some people might not be so familiar. Do you want to kind of tell people who you are, your background, and kind of your involvement within the larger, airsoft community?
Yeah, for sure. So, like you said, my name is Cory Haynes. I go by Tactical Dork on Instagram. I work with Milsim West. I'm cadre with Milsim West. I've been doing that for about 3 years. But other than that, I'm a detective with the Oklahoma City Police Department. That's my full-time job when I'm not LARPing. And I also do a lot of work in film and short film, short form, narrative content, writing, directing, a little bit of acting, trying to act on the side. But that's kind of me in a nutshell.
You see that on the left? The last one will peel it off to the right when I came over here. All right, we go out the same way we came in. Follow me, boys. Let's go. Move, move.
Obviously, there's not only ties back to your, previous work, not only in law enforcement, but time in the military, but then also your personal passions and what you're trying to pursue from the film side. You want to talk a little bit about not only some of the projects that you've worked on that people might have seen, but then also kind of how that is evolving going forward and some stuff you're working on.
Yeah, so I think I've acted in 2 films, the Stalker film and then SCP Overlord, which I think more people have probably seen Overlord, 22-something million views. Yeah. But just an actor in those, and then I started getting more into the production side of it. I've produced / directed and written, I think, 5 films now. And it's pure chaos, but it's fun and I love it. And it is, man, it correlates with Milsim, very closely.
100%.
Especially wanting to do films in the tactical space. Mm-hmm. One of the things that you have to account for is what's your budget for wardrobe? Which a lot of places, if you're not somebody that comes from the tactical realm, you don't already own the gear, it's insanely expensive. So it's really nice to be able to call one of 100,000 participants that plays, airsoft and just be like, hey man, I know you have this type of gun, you have this type of plate carrier, can I use it? And they're like, oh yeah, sure, I'll mail it to you. So there's never any shortage of supply or people that want to come and be extras and stuff like that. So we tie very closely back into the Milsim community on the film side, and it's all pretend, so it's kind of one and the same.
It works, man. It
translates. It's all entertainment. Yeah,
man. I think we've talked, and obviously some of my background is in the film publicity world,
Mm-hmm.
so I've kind of had touch points with the industry as well. And I think one thing that really bodes well for you is an authenticity within that world, right?
Yeah.
I think it's one of the reasons you see a lot of these studio films falling short, especially action, thriller stuff, is because the people directing them, they might come from a film background or have touch points or advisors or consultants, but they don't have an actual tangible understanding of what that world is like and kind of the nuance of it.
Yeah, that is a huge speed bump that people run into in a lot of productions. So you'll have an actor who's insanely talented, can deliver just good, natural sounding dialogue, but you put a gun in his hand and he just looks stiff. And anybody that comes from the community or that culture is immediately going to know, hey, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. So it's nice to be able to have the background that I have, so that even when I'm directing, if I'm not, the actor in front of the camera, if I'm trying to coach somebody, I can make sure they don't look that way, or at least try my best.
Sure.
Whenever I've used actors in my own personal films, I've at least taken them out for a night and trained them, so that they can do better than having no idea at all. Whenever we did Stalker, even having the background, we brought in a special operations guy, Fred Baker, and he trained us for 4 days in CQB. And so I think that shows really well in the movie, but it's a lot of time that I think studios will not put the effort into. They So that's why you see the plate carriers without plates, you see the rifles without sights, you see people holding it down here, not looking down the sights. Goofy stuff like that that's easily avoidable, that just some people just don't have the background to see or know how to fix.
It seems so obvious to people who kind of understand the nuance of it, but if you don't have that perspective, then it's oh yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Obviously, you're Milsim West cadre now.
Yeah.
What was that process of in terms of getting integrated into kind of their events and that community, and then being on this end of it now, cadre, and taking on the responsibility of helping the organization? How has that kind of appealed to you and your background, and obviously having served? Does it fulfill kind of a portion of kind of some of the aspects that maybe you don't get as often anymore in terms of like the camaraderie, being out in the field a little bit more.
Yeah. As far as like, getting involved on the industry side of it, I started a screen printing company back in 2010, and I started getting in as a vendor. So I printed for American Milsim. And then, I probably went to 90 American Milsim games. And then out of nowhere, Josh Warren, the owner of Milsim West, contacted me one day, and he's like, hey, I saw you're a veteran. Would you be interested in being a cadre? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I play AMS. Your stuff looks kind of hardcore. I don't know if I'd like it. And so I kind of like ducked him for like a year or two. And then he ended up hosting a game that was like an hour from my house. Nice. And I was like, well, crap, I'm out of excuses. So I got my gear together. I went out there, and he wanted me to be cadre right off the bat, which I was nervous about because I'd never even played at Milsim West.
Sure.
And dude, it was awesome. It's different, obviously, than like an AMS or a DFE,
The one true Milsim, I've heard.
Yeah. Well, some people claim it is the only Milsim. So not us, but it's definitely like the cadre is like a family it very closely resembles like the family that you have when you're in the military, right? These brothers that you work with, your brothers in arms, you share similar experiences, so you have that connection too. A lot of these guys are, special operations guys. They come from Ranger Bat, Special Forces, MARSOC. We have recon guys, whatever, and just everything across the board. I'm on the low end, just being infantry. There's guys with way cooler experience than me. But we do have those shared experiences, and we have that same set of values that you get, coming from the military that maybe civilians wouldn't understand, Sure. So I think we try to bring that into the games, with Milsim West. But honestly, it's kind of therapeutic. So
yeah. I've heard that from a lot of my buddies who were service members and have gotten into this world.
You learn all these skills, when you're active, and you deploy these skills, like when you go to combat, and then it's kind of like over. Yeah. And you still have this just this chest that you lock away that has all these skills, and to be able to bring that out, open it back up, and use those things again, and then teach it to civilians that might be interested in, going into the military or just want to learn new stuff, and putting them through their paces. It's very cool. It's really, really fun.
If people want to check out samples of your work, where do you want to send them, whether it be your Instagram or YouTube channel? Where can people kind of find more information?
Both my Instagram and my YouTube are Tactical Dork. That's COOL, not tactical, tactical. But we've got, I think, 4 short films up on the YouTube, ranging from 17 to like 4 minutes. And then there's just everything on Instagram. All of the shorts that I've acted in, all the shorts that I've directed, some photo shoots, some other stuff. Crazy Milsim adventures, it's all there.
Yeah, man, definitely look forward to seeing more, not only on the filmmaking side, but seeing how you guys advance within the media advertising space. I think you guys can do big things, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, brother, thank you for talking to me, man.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to see you, man.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, brother.
And we'll talk soon, brother. Thanks, guys, appreciate you. We'll talk soon.